For 3 years, I sacrificed everything to help my boyfriend become a star. I paid the bills, supported his dreams, and stood beside him through every failure. But at the biggest night of his career, he publicly kissed the movie's lead actress in front of hundreds of people. And when I confronted him, he looked me in the eyes and pretended he didn't know me. Humiliated and heartbroken, I thought I had lost everything. I didn't know that his betrayal was hiding a much darker truth, and that karma was already coming for him. For 3 years, I lived for Ryan's dream. "One day you'll see me on a giant billboard," he used to tell me. "And I'll be the guy bragging that I knew you before you were famous," I would reply. Back then he always smiled and kissed my forehead. Now, standing inside the luxury hotel ballroom where his movie wrap party was being held, I remembered those moments and felt proud. I adjusted my jacket and looked around at the crowd. Actors, producers, reporters, and investors filled the room. Ryan had finally made it. After years of failed auditions, endless rejections, and nights when he wanted to quit, he had landed the lead role in a major movie. I had been there through all of it. I paid rent when he couldn't. I covered groceries. I listened whenever he cried after another rejection. Tonight felt like our victory. I spotted him across the room talking with Vanessa Reed, the movie's lead actress. She was beautiful, confident, and surrounded by attention. Ryan noticed me and smiled briefly. My heart warmed. Then the director stepped onto the stage. "I want to thank everyone who made this film possible," he announced. The audience applauded. Ryan and Vanessa joined him. Cameras flashed everywhere. "This movie wouldn't exist without the incredible chemistry between our two stars," the director continued. The crowd cheered. Vanessa laughed. Ryan wrapped an arm around her waist. Something felt strange. Then it happened. Without warning, Ryan pulled Vanessa closer and kissed her. Not a quick kiss. Not a joke. A real kiss. The ballroom exploded with applause. People whistled. Reporters rushed forward. Phones filled the air. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. My mind refused to accept what I was seeing. Someone beside me laughed. "Oh my God, they're finally official. They make the perfect couple." I knew it. Every word felt like a knife. The kiss ended. Ryan grinned while Vanessa waved at the crowd. I pushed through the guests. "Ryan." He didn't react. "Ryan." This time he looked at me. For a second I expected an explanation. An apology. Anything. Instead he frowned. "Can I help you?" I stared at him. "What are you talking about?" Several people turned toward us. My chest tightened. "Ryan, it's me." He exchanged a glance with Vanessa. Then he looked back at me. "Sorry," he said calmly. "Do I know you?" The room fell silent. I felt every eye on me. My stomach dropped. "Stop it," I whispered. "What?" "This isn't funny." Ryan shrugged. "I honestly don't know who you are." A few people chuckled. One reporter raised a phone and started recording. I couldn't believe it. 3 years. 3 years together. 3 years of sacrifices. And now he was pretending I didn't exist. Vanessa crossed her arms. "Security, is there a problem?" The words hit me harder than the kiss. I wasn't a stranger. I wasn't some random fan. I was the person who loved him most. "Ryan," I said quietly, "you're really doing this?" His expression never changed. "I think you've had too much to drink." Laughter spread through the crowd. My face burned with humiliation. For a moment I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell everyone the truth. Instead I turned around. No one stopped me. No one cared. The celebration continued behind me as if I had never been there. I walked out of the ballroom and into the cold night air. My hands shook. My phone vibrated. Then it vibrated again. And again. Messages flooded the screen. Videos. Photos. Headlines. Ryan Blake and Vanessa Reed confirm romance at wrap party. Hollywood's new power couple. I stared at the glowing screen. The man I loved had erased me from his life in front of hundreds of people. And the whole world was already celebrating it. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Ryan kissing Vanessa while the crowd cheered. My phone started vibrating before sunrise. Message after message flooded the screen. "Are you okay? What happened? Call me." Then Mia called. "I'm coming over." "Mia, don't." "Too late." She hung up. 20 minutes later, she burst into my apartment. "You look terrible." "Thanks." "I'm serious. I didn't sleep." I figured. She sat beside me and grabbed my phone. Wow. The headlines kept appearing. Ryan Blake and Vanessa Reed confirm romance. Hollywood's hottest new couple. My stomach twisted. Mia shook her head. "I want to punch him." "Get in line." A knock sounded at the door. Lucas walked in carrying coffee. Emergency support delivery. I forced a smile. You didn't have to. Yes, I did. He handed me a cup. For a few minutes, nobody spoke. Finally, Lucas sighed. Have you heard from Ryan? I picked up my phone. 23 unanswered calls. 6 messages. No replies. No. Of course not, Mia snapped. He humiliated you in public. I looked away. The silence brought back memories I didn't want. I remembered Ryan sitting on our couch years ago. I failed again, he had whispered. It's one audition. It's my 7th this month. I had squeezed his hand. You'll make it. What if I don't? Then I'll keep believing until you do. Back then I meant every word. Now I wished I hadn't. Lucas interrupted my thoughts. I heard something. What? It's a rumor. I laughed bitterly. My life is already a rumor. I'm serious. He leaned forward. Mark pushed him. Ryan's manager. What do you mean? People in the industry are talking. Mia frowned. Talking about what? Lucas lowered his voice. Mark supposedly told Ryan to hide any relationship that might hurt his image. I stared at him. You're saying this was planned? I don't know. But I've heard it more than once. My chest tightened. Ryan had choices. Nobody forced him to stand there. Nobody forced him to pretend not to know me. Later that afternoon, another interview appeared online. I shouldn't have watched it. But I did. A reporter smiled at Ryan. So how long have you been single? Ryan laughed. A few years now. A few years. I nearly dropped my phone. 3 years. 3 years together. And he erased every second. Mia cursed under her breath. Lucas looked furious. I felt something changing inside me. The heartbreak was still there. But anger was growing faster. My phone rang again. An unknown number. I answered. Hello? Is this Ethan? Yes. This is Grant Sullivan, the director. I sat up immediately. Why are you calling? A pause followed. Then he spoke carefully. I saw what happened. Then you know exactly who Ryan is. It's more complicated than that. What does that mean? I can't explain everything right now. Why not? Because there are things happening behind the scenes that you don't know. My pulse quickened. What things? I just wanted you to know appearances can be misleading. Before I could ask another question, the call ended. I stared at the screen. Minutes later, a new message appeared from another unknown number. Hello, Ethan. My name is Olivia Hart. I'm an entertainment journalist. We need to meet. I have information about Ryan that could change everything. I met Olivia the next afternoon at a quiet coffee shop. She arrived carrying a laptop and a thick folder. You came, she said. You said you had information. I do. I sat across from her. Start talking. Olivia opened the folder. What I'm about to show you isn't public. My stomach tightened. She slid several printed photos across the table. I stared at them. Ryan and Vanessa. Restaurants. Parties. Red carpet events. The dates caught my attention. These were taken months ago. Exactly, Olivia replied. But they only announced the relationship last week. She nodded. Because parts of it were staged. I looked up sharply. What do you mean? Look closer. She handed me another document. Schedules. Interview dates. Promotional events. The pattern was obvious. Every public appearance happened right before major movie announcements. This can't be real. It is. I rubbed my forehead. So the relationship was fake? Not entirely. What does that mean? It started as publicity. My chest felt heavy. Olivia opened her laptop. There's more. She showed me copies of emails. I immediately recognized Mark's name. Ryan's manager. One message made my blood run cold. The romance angle will attract investors. Keep personal complications hidden. Another email followed. Ryan and Vanessa together will generate headlines for months. I stared at the screen. He knew. Olivia nodded. Yes. I wanted to blame Mark. It would have been easier. But nobody forced Ryan to agree. Nobody forced him to humiliate me. Why are you showing me this? Because you deserve the truth. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Finally, I whispered, I still love him. Olivia's expression softened. That's why this hurts. I laughed bitterly. I should hate him. Do you? I don't know. Part of me did. Part of me still remembered every good moment. The man who celebrated my birthday. The man who promised we'd grow old together. The man who apparently never existed. Later that evening my phone rang. Grant. I answered immediately. Olivia showed me everything. A long pause followed. Then you know more than most people. Was Ryan always like this? No. The answer surprised me. Grant sighed. When filming started, he was grateful and humble. What changed? Fame. I closed my eyes. He changed that much? Little by little. Grant sounded disappointed. At first he listened to advice. Then he started chasing attention. And Vanessa? Another pause. I don't trust her. Why? I think she's playing her own game. Those words stayed with me. The next few days brought more evidence. More emails. More witnesses. More stories. Every piece pointed toward the same truth. Ryan wasn't trapped. Ryan wasn't manipulated. He made his choice. He chose ambition. He chose publicity. And he chose to throw me away. That realization hurt more than anything else. A knock suddenly echoed through my apartment. I wasn't expecting anyone. I walked to the door and opened it. My breath caught. Ryan stood there. His eyes looked tired. Ethan. What are you doing here? We need to talk. No, we don't. Please. I started closing the door. Ryan grabbed the frame. Don't? His voice cracked. For the first time he looked scared. What do you want? He swallowed hard. Then he said the last thing I expected. You can't tell anyone what you know. I stared at him. And suddenly realized he wasn't here to apologize. He was here because he was afraid. I stared at Ryan through the half-open door. You can't tell anyone what you know, he repeated. I laughed in disbelief. That's why you're here? Ethan, please listen. No, you listen. I opened the door fully. You publicly humiliated me. I know. You pretended not to know me. I had no choice. The words hit me like a slap. No choice. Ryan stepped inside. This isn't what it looks like. Then explain it. He ran a hand through his hair. The relationship with Vanessa is temporary. I felt sick. Temporary? It's part of the campaign. You kissed her. I had to. You denied knowing me. I had to do that too. Every answer made things worse. Ryan moved closer. Once the movie promotion ends, everything will go back to normal. I stared at him. Normal. As if my life had not been destroyed. As soon as the campaign is over, he continued, we can be together again. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You want me to wait? Just a little longer. I laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was insane. 3 years. 3 years of sacrifices. 3 years of loyalty. And he expected me to sit quietly while he played celebrity boyfriend with another woman. Ethan. No. Please. No. His face tightened. You don't understand how this industry works. I shook my head. No, Ryan. I finally understand exactly how it works. Silence filled the room. For the first time I saw him clearly. Not the man I loved. Not the dreamer I supported. Just someone willing to trade loyalty for attention. I think you should leave. His eyes widened. You're giving up on us? The question almost made me laugh again. I'm not the one who gave up. Ryan opened his mouth. Then closed it. A few seconds later he walked out. The moment the door shut, something inside me changed. The illusion was finally gone. The next morning I opened a storage box from my closet. Photos. Birthday cards. Movie tickets. Small gifts. Memories of a relationship that no longer existed. I picked up a framed picture. Ryan was smiling beside me. We look happy, Lucas said from behind me. I nodded. We were. He sat beside me. What are you going to do? I tossed the photo into a trash bag. Move on. Good. One by one I cleared the box. Each item hurt. But each item also felt like freedom. Later that afternoon, Lucas handed me a business card. Who's Daniel Price? A producer. I looked up. A real producer? Lucas laughed. Last time I checked. What does he want? He read one of your scripts. My heart skipped. Seriously? He wants a meeting. For the first time in weeks, I felt something other than pain. Oh. A few days later, I sat across from Daniel. I like your writing, he said. You do. I think you have talent. Nobody had said those words to me in years. Most of my energy had gone into supporting Ryan. Now someone was finally seeing me. Not as Ryan's boyfriend. As myself. While headlines continued praising Ryan and Vanessa, rumors quietly started spreading. Arguments. Conflicts. Tension behind the scenes. The perfect image wasn't as perfect as people believed. But for once I wasn't focused on Ryan. I returned home, opened my laptop and uploaded my screenplay. Then I pressed submit. As the confirmation appeared on my screen, I smiled. For years I had chased someone else's dream. Now I was finally choosing my own. 3 weeks after submitting my screenplay, Daniel called me. "Sit down before I tell you this." I laughed. "You're scaring me." "I'm serious." I sat. "Okay. Tell me." 3 studios requested your script." For a moment I couldn't speak. "What?" "You heard me." I covered my mouth. "You're joking." "I'm not." My heart pounded. After everything that had happened, something good was finally happening to me. Daniel laughed. "That's the reaction I expected. This is real. Very real." After the call ended, I immediately called Lucas. "They want my script." "I knew they would." "No, you didn't." "Fine. I hoped they would." For the first time in months I felt excited about the future. But while my career was moving forward, Ryan's life was moving in the opposite direction. The first crack appeared when Olivia published her article. The headlines spread everywhere. "Questions surround Hollywood's favorite couple." I read every word. The article pointed out contradictions in interviews, timelines, and public appearances. People immediately started asking questions. A few days later my phone rang again. "Hello. This is Sophia Reed, Vanessa's sister." I sat upright. "Why are you calling me?" "Because you deserve to know something." I stayed silent. Sophia continued. "Vanessa has been seeing someone else." I blinked. "What?" "For months." My shock quickly turned into disbelief. "Ryan knows." "I don't think so." The conversation ended shortly afterward, but the damage was done. Soon rumors exploded online. Investors began questioning the relationship. Entertainment channels discussed the growing controversy daily. Then came another interview. I watched despite knowing I shouldn't. A reporter asked Ryan a simple question. "Are the recent rumors true?" Ryan forced a smile. "No." "What about the conflicting timelines?" "They've been misunderstood." "What about Vanessa's private meetings with another actor?" His expression tightened. "No comment." I immediately noticed the difference. Months ago Ryan looked confident. Now he looked nervous, defensive, cornered. The internet noticed too. Comments flooded every platform. "Something doesn't add up. He's hiding something. I don't trust him anymore." One evening Olivia called. "Things are getting worse." "For Ryan?" "Yes." I leaned back. "What happened now?" "Mark left." "Ryan's manager. The same man who pushed the fake romance." "Seriously?" "Completely." "Why?" Olivia laughed. "Because scandals hurt profits." The irony wasn't lost on me. The man who encouraged the lie had abandoned Ryan the moment things became inconvenient. Days later, another headline appeared. "Major investors reconsider partnership." Then another. "Public trust in Ryan Blake continues to decline." I should have felt satisfied. Part of me did. Ryan was finally experiencing public embarrassment. The same humiliation he forced me to endure. But another part of me remembered different memories. The struggling actor. The hopeful dreamer. The man who once held my hand and promised we'd face everything together. Remembering those moments hurt. Lucas noticed my mood. "You still care about him." I looked away. "Maybe. That's normal." "I don't want to care." "You can't erase 3 years overnight." He was right. Late that night, another breaking story appeared online. I opened the article. Then I froze. A major studio had canceled Ryan's upcoming movie contract. I stared at the screen for several seconds. The comments were brutal. The headlines were worse. And for the first time since the rap party, Ryan wasn't the rising star everyone admired. He was becoming the cautionary tale everyone discussed. The months that followed changed everything. My screenplay moved into production. Meetings became normal. Opportunities kept appearing. Meanwhile, Ryan's downfall continued. Vanessa stopped appearing beside him. Their photos disappeared. Their interviews stopped. Their relationship ended without any public explanation. Mark was gone too. No statements. No support. Nothing. Even people who once praised Ryan suddenly kept their distance. One afternoon Olivia called. "Nobody is answering his calls anymore." I stared out my window. "That's sad." "Do you mean that?" I thought about it. "Part of me does." A long silence followed. Then Olivia sighed. "You're a better person than most people." Maybe. Or maybe I was simply tired. Tired of anger. Tired of revenge. tired of carrying pain everywhere I went. A week later, I attended a publishing event celebrating several new screenwriters. The evening went well. People congratulated me. Producers introduced themselves. For the first time in years, I felt proud of my own achievements. When the event ended, rain poured from the dark sky. I stepped outside and opened my umbrella. Then I heard a familiar voice. Ethan. I froze. Ryan stood across the street. His appearance shocked me. He looked thinner, older, exhausted. For several seconds, neither of us moved. Finally, he walked toward me. We need to talk. I almost said no. Instead, I nodded. Rain hammered the sidewalk around us. Ryan looked down. Then he whispered, I'm sorry. The words sounded genuine. I know that doesn't fix anything. No, it doesn't. He swallowed hard. I lost everything. I stayed silent. Vanessa left. I heard. Mark disappeared. I heard that too. Ryan laughed bitterly. Funny how nobody stays when things get difficult. The irony was obvious. I didn't need to point it out. Ryan looked directly at me. I never stopped loving you. My chest tightened. I know that sounds ridiculous. A little. I'm serious. His eyes filled with regret. The worst thing I ever did wasn't the fake relationship. I waited. It was pretending not to know you. The memory instantly returned. The ballroom. The laughter. The humiliation. Ryan lowered his head. I replay that moment every day. Neither of us spoke for several seconds. To my surprise, I didn't feel satisfaction. I didn't feel victory. I simply felt calm. Ryan's punishment wasn't my success. My success was my success. Those were different things. I forgive you, I said quietly. Ryan looked stunned. You do? Yes. Hope immediately appeared in his eyes. Then he asked the question I expected. Can we try again? I gently shook my head. The hope disappeared. Ethan, please. No. I've changed. Maybe you have. Then why? I took a deep breath. Because trust matters. Ryan's shoulders slumped. You don't believe me. I believe you're sorry. Then give me another chance. I looked at him one last time. The man standing before me wasn't the person I loved. And I wasn't the same person either. Goodbye, Ryan. I turned around and started walking. Ethan. I didn't stop. Ethan, please. The rain swallowed his voice. I kept moving forward. For the first time, I wasn't leaving because I was broken. I was leaving because I had finally healed. Behind me, Ryan stood alone with nothing except the consequences of his choices. 1 year later, my life barely resembled the life I had before. The screenplay I submitted had become a real film. Not just any film. A successful one. The premiere was being held in one of the biggest theaters in the city. As I adjusted my suit backstage, Lucas walked over. Nervous? A little. He laughed. You survived, Ryan Blake. You can survive a premiere. Fair point. Lucas grinned. I still can't believe this is happening. Neither can I. A voice interrupted us. Ethan. I turned around. Daniel extended his hand. Congratulations. Thank you. You earned this. Those simple words meant more than he probably realized. For years, my identity had been connected to Ryan. Now people knew me because of my work. Not because of someone else's fame. A few minutes later, Mia rushed into the room. There he is. I smiled. Hi, Mia. She immediately hugged me. I'm proud of you. Thanks. No. Seriously. Her eyes became emotional. A year ago, I was worried you'd never recover. I squeezed her hand. I wasn't sure either. You proved all of us wrong. Soon we headed toward the theater entrance. Fans, reporters, and photographers filled the area. The atmosphere felt exciting instead of overwhelming. For once, I wasn't standing in someone else's shadow. I was standing in my own light. Then I noticed someone in the crowd. Ryan. My steps slowed. He stood alone near the edge of the entrance. He looked different. Older. Quieter. Life had clearly humbled him. Lucas followed my gaze. You okay? Yeah. Do you want me to come with you? I shook my head. No. I walked toward Ryan. When he saw me, he offered a small smile. Congratulations. Thank you. You look happy. I am. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then Ryan glanced toward the theater. You did all this. We did. He laughed softly. Still humble. I smiled. Still learning. Ryan placed his hands in his pockets. I watched your interviews. That sounds dangerous. It probably was. We both laughed. The tension that once existed between us was gone. Finally, Ryan sighed. I owe you one more apology. You already apologized. I know. He looked down briefly. That doesn't change the truth. What truth? Losing you was the biggest mistake of my life. A year ago those words would have shattered me. Months ago they might have tempted me. Now they simply felt like another chapter that had already ended. I'm sorry it took me so long to understand. I nodded. I believe you. Ryan looked relieved. Then he smiled. I hope you're happy, Ethan. I am. And I hope that never changes. For the first time I knew he meant it. Take care of yourself, Ryan. You too. That was it. No anger. No bitterness. Just closure. I turned and walked back toward the people waiting for me. Lucas, Mia, Daniel. The people who stayed. The people who believed in me when I struggled to believe in myself. Lucas wrapped an arm around my shoulder. Ready? I looked toward the theater doors. The future waited on the other side. A year earlier I thought revenge would heal me. I thought watching Ryan suffer would somehow fix the damage. I was wrong. The greatest victory was never revenge. It was rebuilding my life. It was discovering my own worth. It was learning that being abandoned did not mean I was unlovable. As the doors opened, I smiled and stepped forward. This time, I wasn't chasing someone else's dream. I was finally living my own. And for the first time in a very long time, the future belonged to me.